Welcome to the recorded video for the District Cohort 2 kickoff for OTISS, Oklahoma Tiered Intervention System of Support. If you were unable to attend the live session and would still like to apply for support for your district, please watch all of the videos and sign the attestation and attach it with your completed application. We're going to start by directing you to our website at www.otiss.net. On our website, the first thing you'll see is a short informational video.
Say hello to OTISS. OTISS is the Oklahoma Tiered Intervention System of Support, Oklahoma's version of a multi-tiered system of supports, with the goal of ensuring high levels of success for all students. OTISS does this by helping teachers, parents, and administrators identify students' academic and behavioral strengths and weaknesses. This support helps educators select research-based interventions targeted to students' specific needs, setting them on the road to success. But don't call OTISS just another program or curriculum. Rather, OTISS is a framework used to organize all aspects of instruction into a cohesive system that provides students with increasing levels of support. OTISS has 8 core components: leadership, collaborative teaming, family engagement, professional development, universal screening, tiered levels of intervention, progress monitoring, and database decision-making. When these components of OTISS work together, students' progress is constantly monitored and their needs addressed. When students struggle, educators can intervene early to ensure that all students succeed. OTISS is designed to work with all students, regardless of their learning level. By responding quickly and early to learning or behavioral difficulties, OTISS can help every student stay on the road to success.
So that gives you a brief overview of what OTISS is, and now we will go into some more in-depth information on how you apply and what it can do for you. First of all, my name is Kristen Perez-Rickles. I am the SPDIG 3 Behavioral Specialist.
And I'm Jessica Oakes. I am the SPDIG 3 Instructional Specialist.
Also on our team is Krista Knight, Project Director, Beth Ann Langlois, Project Coordinator. And within our leadership team not employed by the OSDE, we have Dr. Gary Duhan as the district level system coach from OSU, Dr. Mary Dahlgren, our literacy consultant from Tools for Reading, Cheryl Huffman is the grant external evaluator, and Barbara Curry is her associate. We also have Dr. Marianne Shepard and Rashida Tatum as behavior consultants from Oklahoma Pediatric Therapy Center, and we partner with Oklahoma Parent Center to provide support as well. Brief background of the State Personnel Development Grant. It is a federal grant from the United States Department of Education Office of Special Education Programs. We are in the 3rd iteration of Oklahoma's grant. The prior grant created and implemented the Oklahoma Tiered Intervention System of Support framework at the site level. Moving forward, we have expanded to begin implementation at the district level.
Now we'll talk about the goals of the current SPDIG 3. So goal 1 is for us to scale up and improve the sustainability of OTISS. So we're moving from the site to the district level support. Goal 2 is to enhance and expand professional development for parents. Goal 3 is to enhance collaboration on initiatives designed to improve outcomes for students with disabilities and their non-disabled peers. While all of the SPDIG 3 goals are important, Goal 1 especially pertains to the OTISS district scale-up.
So we will discuss a little bit about the OTISS and its system supports. First of all, OTISS is Oklahoma's tiered intervention model for identifying and addressing academic and behavioral difficulties that interfere with student success. If you have heard of multi-tiered systems of support, this is Oklahoma's branded version of a multi-tiered system of support. OTISS is a systematic approach to instruction in which we attempt to respond to and prevent school-based problems. This is accomplished by structuring resources in order to identify students who need additional help for success, make efforts to improve performance of those identified students, and examine our own efforts to see how it worked and how we could revise them for greater effectiveness.
Conceptually, OTISS is a structured approach to instruction designed to deliver academic and behavioral supports utilizing existing resources to support all students. Our slide says working smarter, not harder. Well, that might not be the complete truth. It is hard work. Teachers, administrators, leadership, it is working harder, but for students' success and definitely working smarter.
So schools before OTISS implemented general education, and once they realized that that was not appropriate for every population of students, we began implementing other programming, for instance, special education, English learner, and reading specialists began working with students who were struggling. We also had math specialists and behavioral programs in some schools. Our district level system coach refers to this as the shotgun approach to education, kind of like whack-a-mole. As soon as a population of students needs more support, we develop a new program or a new space for them. Schools after OTISS are organized differently and in such a way that all of the supports that are already available are tiered to create a continuum of support for all students. So we do this and tier our interventions and provide appropriate support to every population and every student by using the 8 core components to create a framework that organizes all of the things and all of the programs already in your district and in your sites.
The 8 core components begin with leadership, teaming, family engagement. Those are the people. We talk about those first 3 as the people. We add in professional development, universal screening and benchmarking, tiered levels of interventions, progress monitoring, and decision making. And those are our processes.
Leadership, leadership. It's so important we say it twice. District and site leadership can ensure that time, resources, personnel, and training are allocated appropriately and in a continuum for student supports. Principals as well as lead teachers set the climate for the school, so if leadership is on board, staff will follow. We take a lot of time to really enhance and improve and provide professional development and growth for leaders throughout the district and throughout site buildings.
The teaming we have different types of teaming with OTISS. The first would be the district level team, where we're meeting with superintendents, decision makers, possibly curriculum people, school climate personnel if you have those in your district. And we come in and we go through the policies and the things that you have already developed with your district, and we just evaluate that with also with your data. The next level team is a school level team, and that's at the site. So that's when we're interpreting what the district has said as a policy, and we're going in and we're evaluating just the site data as well as also auditing all of the resources and materials that each site has available so that we can fit our framework into whatever you're already doing to support our implementation. And just as a reminder, we know that teams have to meet regularly to be effective, and that will happen both at the district level and at the school level.
The next component is parent and family engagement. Family involvement is an ongoing process throughout the framework. Ideally, parents should be active partners in the intervention process and serve as a member of the team for their child. At the very least, parents should be informed of their student status within the process and any change in that status. Beyond the individual student and understanding the supports that they're being provided, parents and families also act as a wonderful resource for implementation and sharing the processes and school policies with other family members.
The next part of the next component, is professional development. And we do this by gathering data and doing an analysis with teams of both district needs and site needs. We focus specifically on effective instruction, the design and the delivery, and the principles of differentiation, reading and math core instruction, universal screening for both academics and behavior, parental engagement, formative assessment and progress monitoring, again, the school-wide behavior support, the data analysis, and just those standard protocol interventions that all teachers should be doing.
The next and first part of our processes components is universal screening. This is the method used for early identification of students at risk for academic or behavioral difficulties. Universal screening means that all students are screened multiple times a year. The screening instruments should be research-based, brief, and easy to administer, and provide benchmarks for performance. Universal screening should be done in both academics and in behavior. So universal screening is not just giving of the test, but it also requires precise administration, making sure that it is completed as written by trained personnel, summarizing that assessment data so that it could be used to inform decisions, and careful analysis must occur soon after data collection and reviewed at the broadest levels first. For instance, if you have 20% of your students not meeting benchmark, not all 20% of those students can receive Tier 3 resources and services. So you would look at the broadest level, how many of your students are understanding at the broadest level before you start narrowing down to those students with the most significant needs.
So after you've done that universal screening, you're going to be able to tier your students, and that's our tiered levels of intervention. So in Tier 1, that's your core instruction for all students. If that could be your district curriculum, your programs that you provided, as long as they're doing the right things and they're meeting all of the necessary components for instruction for all students. And it's definitely standards aligned, and that's just what all your students are going to be your general area of instruction. And in Tier 2, after you've done your universal screening and you've identified students that need that extra, you would perform the diagnostic to find the skill deficits that are needed to meet the needs of these students in Tier 2. It's the additional academic or behavioral interventions who they're not meeting the expectation in Tier 1 or the expected progress of Tier 1. In Tier 3, that's going to be your intensive instruction for just a few students. Academic and behavioral interventions designed for a few students who've received Tier 2 and Tier 1 and are still below the grade level benchmark. Again, all students receive Tier 1, a targeted area receive Tier 2, and a limited amount of students should be receiving Tier 3. This might feel familiar to you if you are in an elementary school, because this is the system that RSA uses in their framework.
Once you have provided interventions, you progress monitor all of your students to evaluate the effect of intervention. When progress monitoring, you have to consider what you are monitoring, what skills has that intervention targeted, how to measure it, materials needed, and frequency of measurement. Frequency of measurement will depend on the skills that you are targeting and the intervention used. You want to make sure that the student has had enough time in the intervention to experience an effect, but not so long that they miss out on needed instruction if the intervention is not successful. Data-based decision-making. This refers to every educational decision you make within the building. Decision rules for screening instruments must be made regarding how you identify a population of at-risk students, how you are going to measure the progress in response to those interventions, and how you will evaluate the response to those interventions. The bottom line for decision making is that if you don't have the data, you can't make the right decisions or the most informed decisions for your students' education. Without the decision rules, you don't have consistency in who receives what supports. And without good adherence to the decision rules, anything goes. You're basing your educational decisions not on necessarily facts, but on opinion. It's a slippery slope. It'll undermine what you do, and it could cut away at the efficiency of your framework in determining students who receive those higher level supports.
So again, it's a lot to think about. These components, they both guide and support actions necessary to help all students.
Okay. So this concludes the first portion of the OTISS District Cohort 2 kickoff. Please continue on to the next video.